What's up, everybody? It's Stardust Simmer back here with another build video. Um, Switching gears yet again. Uh, we're building another house. And it's. I really shot myself in the foot with this one. I. I wasn't. I was a little frustrated. Just a little bit. Because I was pushing myself to do tiny homes and do like tiny homes. I did a micro home and under a budget. So, and also limiting packs. So this time I was like, you know what? Like we'll limit packs still. Um, but we are not going to do a tiny home. And we're also not going to worry about a budget because your girl likes to clutter up her builds and make everything look full and lived in. So we are not going to adhere to a budget. Um, and this build is my karma because now we know why we put those limitations on our, not even limitations, just like parameters for ourselves. So we don't get carried away. Now, this house it's big. It's not the biggest house I've ever built by any means, but it's not small. And the packs that we're using today, at first I wanted to, obviously the base game, right? Always the base game. But I wanted to do seasons and cats and dogs. And at some point I just decided to do cats and dogs and not seasons. Although I love both of those packs, and I think that the furniture and the build items, they work together like pretty well. I just decided, look, we gotta add a little more challenge, and we're just gonna do cats and dogs. Part of me wants to say that if I had had seasons, I might have even been able to furnish this even faster, but maybe that's just me talking to myself. I think I really couldn't tell you. It ended up working out like just fine. I was digging really deep there with the clutter items at some points. It was a little exhausting. But I'm really happy with how the build came out ultimately. Again, very big house. I actually had to film this over 2 different days. Uh, the first day was I spent 2 hours, um, and I got like it was probably honestly like 50% of the way, and then I spent like another 2 hours the following morning. It's honestly a feat that we've made it to the voiceover, honestly, because like at this point in the build, I'm incredibly optimistic. I'm like, okay, it's kind of big, but like we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. It's not until maybe about like halfway through, where I give up for the first day, that I'm like, I'm so exhausted. I don't know if I can finish it. That's a very, right there is a very blink and you'll miss it moment, but I do put down the like railing for the stairs from seasons. And in the end, I like almost like at the very end, I end up going back and changing it to one from cats and dogs. So there is absolutely no seasons in this build. And I mean, I'll double check. I don't think I've uploaded it to the gallery yet. I usually do that right before or like right after I upload it to YouTube. So I guess we'll find out later. But once it goes on the gallery, it will not have any seasons, if there is any in there, which I don't think that there is. Um, this is a long one, y'all. It, right now we're clocking in at about 4.5 minutes long, and the build itself is 34 minutes and 43 seconds. So strap in if you know, I suggest if you want to pause and get a comfortable drink, get a nice drink, get in a comfortable position. We're gonna be here for a minute. Um, I like to start with the bathrooms most of the time, just to sort of get them out of the way. This home only has 3.5 baths. It's, for being as big as it is and only having 3.5 baths, I mean, it felt fine to me, but maybe we should have gotten a second bathroom and the downstairs. There's like that weirdly shaped room over there in the corner that could have been a bathroom, but I ended up making it into sort of like the room where we would have like the kitty litter box. And I'm trying to do the kitchen here now, and this I hate building on a diagonal in The Sims, and in the end you can see I gave up. I was just like, we're just gonna make this a regular square. We're not dealing with diagonals. The lighting on the counters was totally glitching out, and it looked so weird. There was no way for, like, I could move it and fix it like 75% of the way, but it still looked weird, so I decided just to square out the corner. And my idea for this house, because cats and dogs has a very like, I like East Coast, kind of like New Englandy, Chesapeake Bay kind of aesthetic. And if I'm totally off base, like, please feel free to correct me. But that's just kind of how I perceive it and how I see it. And I like that a lot. I think it's really fun, giving kind of grandma and grandpa, but in a chic way, in a chic and cute way. But I decided to kind of lean into that. So the house, I want it to give kind of a little outdated, but still well taken care of. Like a little, like it's like your chic elderly aunt's house, maybe, or your rich aunt's house, but she's like still living in that New Englandy Chesapeake Bay aesthetic. So there's right now the kitchen looks super open plan, and we're about to change that. It should not be open plan, nice and closed off. But I think it works. And so we have the white like appliances instead of stainless steel, which is actually the kitchen itself kind of resembles even the kitchen that I have here at home. And I live in Southern California. Not that it gives New England, it just has sort of that dated look. We haven't updated the kitchen, and we have white appliances. So I took a little bit of inspiration from my home kitchen. And this sort of blue, this like light blue, is a very what's the word? Like a through line in the cats and dogs pack. A lot of items have this kind of light powdery blue, so it's easy to mix and match based on this particular color. And so I do lean in on the blue. It's a nice blue. It's not like the worst thing ever. I like that plaid like armchair. I do end up changing it to the brown, and it does stay brown. It just works better, especially once we add the wallpaper. It'll make a lot more sense. Right now I'm just trying to like get stuff in there, and maybe not even necessarily like keeping everything that I put in there, but at least knowing where I want to have stuff. That's good as like a first pass through when you're building. Just get the stuff in there, and then you can change it later, just so you get a sense of the purposes of each room. I don't know why I started off doing this, but I got like 2 identical armchairs, and I'm like, for some reason, setting up like 2 identical seating spaces in the same room, like right across from each other, same armchair, like same rug, which is like totally useless because like the Sims, they're never gonna sit in those. And so instead of doing that, I ended up deleting them. I was like, we need to like use our space wisely, and if we have an unlimited budget, like we're gonna go again buck wild. And so I turned it into an easel. So you've got like an easel, a desk, bookshelves, a computer. Whoa, big splurge. I haven't put a computer in any of my other builds because we have not had the budget for it. Except for maybe the first one, because I don't think I limited my budget on that one. So we get a computer. Fun. It is just the home office. Typically, when I have an office like this, when I have like the heir to my legacy, that will be like their personal office, and I will lock the door for everyone else because it gets a little annoying because people will just come into your space and they'll just start using your computer. And you'll have neighbors and they'll just like beeline for your computer. And now there are security settings. I'm starting to use that more instead of just like locking the door. Because it would be kind of nice if like maybe one of the child sims, like they come and they paint on the easel, or maybe they like come sit in the armchair and they read a book, right? It's their parents' study. So locking the computer is a better space. My last build, I talked about how I'm currently. Well, I've already watched it. By the time this goes up, I've probably watched it 3 times. Uh, Bridgerton season 4, part 1, and the color blue is also a through line in the Bridgerton series, Bridgerton blue. And so this room, this kind of music room, skill building room, took inspiration from the Bridgerton drawing room a little bit. We've got these kind of fancy couches and the grand piano and the fancy chess table and these beautiful like blue paneled and wallpapered walls. They're just giving Bridgerton a little bit, and I really, it like scratched an itch in my brain. I liked it very much. So yeah, it sort of resembles their drawing room. We still have so much to go. We're like not even a third. Oh, we're about a third of the way through the build. Um, Gosh, I also don't really ever put curtains, curtains in any of my builds. And here I go trying to curtain it up. I'm trying to make it fancy, guys. I'm like I have no budget. Well, I have an unlimited budget. It's not that I have no budget. My budget is unlimited. So we're going ham. We're putting everything in there. We're putting curtains. We're getting 2 bookshelves. Here's the only place where I really struggled with the layout. And I'm trying, like a house this big. I mean, you don't have to, but like you have to have a butler. A house this big, how you not gonna have a butler, man? So I was very determined to get one in here. So I built this sort of butler suite. But then I realized that butlers come with the, gosh, what is it? The vintage glamour stuff pack. For a second, I thought that they came with Get Together, because it's also sort of, they've got kind of like a fancy thing going on in the Get Together expansion pack, and also the butlers come from Windenburg Academy. Windenburg is the world that comes with Get Together. Neither of those packs is cats and dogs, which is what we are building with. But I figured, I mean, we'll just throw it in there because and if you don't have vintage glamour and you don't have the ability to have a butler, it can just be like a guest bedroom. It's a little odd for a guest bedroom because it's a bunk bed. The space was too small. I could not get a double bed. I couldn't even get a single bed and a desk to fit properly together because there's no single tile desks in the base game or with cats and dogs. So it had to be like a 2-tile desk, and it wasn't going to fit with the bathroom. Bathroom's also a funky shape. So I had to get a bunk bed, and then I slotted a desk underneath the bunk bed. And that's the only way it was going to fit. And when I play tested it, just with a random sim, I didn't even hire a butler. I just sent my sim up there. It looked a little strange. Like a full-grown adult sim climbing up into their, like, single-sized bunk bed. Like, I'm really sorry. If you do end up getting a butler, they're going to be struggling a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, if you don't have the vintage glamour stuff pack and you can't get a butler, well, then it's just an extra bedroom. It is giving kind of like, I was gonna say like Harry Potter, Child Under the Stairs. I don't even watch. I've never really seen the full Harry Potter series. I can't reference it correctly, but it's giving that. It's giving like, oh, we're just gonna stick you under the stairs as the guest bedroom. Not even enough for two Sims, just like a single bed. We finally moved upstairs. Um, my brain, I didn't even consider doing anything different. The the kids' bedrooms, this is kind of one that I've envisioned like for a teen. The one next to it for a child sim, and then the one on the other side is for a toddler, and then you have the primary bedroom, which would be for the parents. I furnish them with like, I guess like female sims in mind. I don't know. I mean, I guess this one, the teenager's bedroom, it gives maybe a little bit more gender neutral. But I definitely had like a female sim in mind. Same thing for the kid, as well as the toddler. I don't know. I just like I was like three girls. I don't know what came over me. In my last build, I built a bedroom for twin boys. I mean, truly, they're just for kids. So you could throw anyone in any one of these, right? As long as they're like the age that they're supposed to be in there. It doesn't really matter. Just in my head. Like they're all three of them for female Sims. So the Sims are like, they're girl parents. I mean, love that. I mean, don't you love the concept of like a girl dad or a girl mom? Super cute. Oh, I didn't even mention this earlier when I was building it, but this is something I'll do sometimes, especially in bigger homes. When I have these kind of like towers, I will build like a ladder up to the tower from the teen's bedroom. I will specifically make the layout so that the teen like falls under the tower, and then I will put like a closet and then the ladder up to the second, I guess this is the third floor, right, of the tower. And I'll make it kind of like their own little hideout. With when I've done this in the past, I'll put like different kinds of mats, like the straw mats that come with I think laundry day, because they look good up there. And I'll also get pillows that come with I think the toddler stuff pack, and I'll dot those around. I'll do like little poofs, or like the square ottoman that comes in City Living. But we don't got that. We don't got any of that because we're limiting packs. So it's pretty bare bones up there, unfortunately, as you saw. And I don't like to put any big furniture items because realistically, like the sim wouldn't be able to get like a desk up there because it's a ladder. So it's only stuff that they can kind of carry and shove up there. So there's like a couple pillows, towels that I've sort of reimagined if it could be like a folded up blanket, and just some other comfort items, things that I felt were appropriate. A lantern, I thought that was kind of cute. Oh, here's like the child sim. My like idea for them is that they are like a little bit eccentric. She likes pink and colorful things, but she's also very smart. She's probably like a genius, like that's one of her traits. So I gave her the experiment table. She has plenty of books, and she's just a little quirky. She's a little quirky. She likes science, but she also is like a girly girl, likes to paint her nails. What kind of voice am I making trying to describe her? Oh, she's cute. This is just the sense that I got from her. And it really worked out. I mean, the base game is pretty versatile. If you combine it with like any expansion pack, or even game pack, or even the right stuff pack, you can get some pretty fun combinations. Yeah, she's a fun sim. And then I think after this we move on to the toddler. And again, I made the toddler just like a totally pink room. I don't know what came over me. It was just, I mean, for me personally, a pink room it's so fun, it's so cute, especially when it's like a toddler or a child sim, giving them just a fun bubblegum pink, very girly girl room. It's just fun to me. It's sort of the room that I wish I could have had when I was that age. I think I even leave like the rainbow curtains, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, I really did get curtains in like almost every room. I'm very impressed with myself. That doesn't usually happen. Oof. There we go. I'm like, not purposefully, but I'm kind of avoiding the parents' bedroom just because it felt the most boring to me, especially after doing these really fun kids' rooms and then having to do a very like kind of basic, almost hotel room sort of bedroom was very boring. But I think I made it fun in the end. Oh, and I love the tile that I get in the bathroom, the shared bathroom for the kids. There is this tile. You'll see it in a second, but it's really pretty. It has a bunch of really great swatches, and it looks like it belongs in the Jungle Adventure stuff pack, which if you know me, you know that's like my favorite pack in the game. Um, but I make it nice and pretty and pink because it belongs to three girls. Um, and that was very fun for me. Am I gonna do this landing right now? I feel like I don't. Yeah, I don't do it. I don't do it. I come back to it after I do the outside. Like that's one of the last things that I do. I think we're already. I think we hit day two. Like this is yeah. This is definitely like I after the break. I couldn't even tell when I did it. The editing was like pretty good. Good job, me. Here we go. Oh, we're gonna get this wallpaper. I used a similar, like the sister wallpaper to this in the cafe that I built in yesterday's video. And I don't know why. It just like really, it tickles my brain. It's very busy, but I feel like it fills out the space in just a way that it needs. It didn't look this cozy with just like the plain kind of beige wallpaper that I had up there or paint that I had up there. It wasn't doing it for me. I'm really glad that I went with this more bold choice. And I've done that pretty consistently across like the rooms. The hallways are staying a more plain and neutral color, but the dining room, the music room, the study, and here I'm gonna put the wallpaper also in this room. Just a different swatch though. Yes, it's so bright and open. Wouldn't you love to have a dinner party there? Could eat some clam chowder, probably, in this New England style home. This house definitely it doesn't belong in Newcrest. I mean, like aesthetically, Newcrest is like a very basic like suburban kind of landscape, but the cats and dogs stuff pack, it comes with the world Windenburg. No, not Windenburg. Brittleton Bay, which is like that's personally my favorite world to build in The Sims. I love the it's like oh it's a bay, right? So it's on the water and I like the texture of the grass. I love that you kind of have more of like a not city area but like a town area and then you have like an area to build that is more like hidden and like in the woods a little bit and then you have an area that's like right on the water and like almost like right on the beach and I think that's super fun. It has the lighthouse that you can travel to. Ooh, and I flared out the stairs there. That's in the new update that we literally got today. Like as I was building it, I had just updated my game, and as I was fiddling with the stairs, I remembered that we got that, so I flared out the bottom, and it looks good. It looks fun. It's in preparation for the new like royalty pack expansion pack that we're gonna get later this month, and everybody gets flared stairs, which is really fun. And upstairs, I changed the railing from the seasons one to the cats and dogs one. So again, no cats and dogs items in this pack or in this build. But this house definitely belongs in Brittleton, for being my favorite world. You'd think I'd know how to pronounce the name, uh, but I don't. I guess Brittleton Bay. It definitely belongs there. It could belong on one of those like very scenic lots that overlook the entire bay and that are way too big for anyone's good. I might place it there just to see how it looks. And because I don't have any other packs, I don't have much to do for the backyard. I like didn't have any activities. I didn't want to place like any planter boxes or anything like that because it just didn't feel like. Do these look like the kinds of Sims that are gonna grow their own plants? Be so real with me right now. These are very. They have a butler, for crying out loud. I guess the butler could do it. But why make them? They're already going to be like chasing after your kids, making sure they do their homework. Don't make them go do gardening. Those poor things. So we end up just getting like a table and a grill. The Sims love to grill. Goodness. I'll be like, okay, like it's pouring raining or it's like blizzarding outside. And I'm like, let's stay inside. Let's make some chili. Let's make some minestrone. Let's bake a cake. Let's stay warm. And then one of them will just go outside in a blizzard and they'll grill, like, they won't even grill, like, steaks or something. They'll grill fruit. For why? For why? For what? I don't know. I think it's always funny. They're funny in that way. I like that they kind of just, if you let them, they'll do whatever they want. So to fill up the space, I figured, why don't we, one of the activities, I guess, that comes with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack is the ability to do dog training or just pet training. So I was like, why don't we get, like, the show dog stuff out here and just fill out the whole yard with it. These people probably have prize show dogs. There are like some pet beds littered around the house, so it's not outside of the realm of possibility. I mean, it is the Cats and Dogs pack, so why not have places for your cats and dogs to sit? So, if you did end up downloading this, you can just delete all of those. I really just did it to fill out the space, and you can put like some, I don't know, playground equipment, slip and slide. A pool, like a massive pool. And you can delete all of that ridiculousness. I did get some monkey bars in there. I've put monkey bars, I think, in every build that I've done for the channel. I'm almost sure. Maybe with the exception of, like, the cabin. The micro cabin. Because it's meant for, like, one sim and no children. So there would be no reason for me to put it in there. Also, it was a budget build. We don't have monkey bars money. We didn't have monkey bars money in that build. But we do here. I put a pet cemetery also kind of round back. I did end up going in the debug to see if there was anything kind of interesting. Because I was struggling, guys, with the clutter. I was at my wit's end. I didn't have any more clutter. Everything was going to be so repetitive. I was digging into debug. I didn't find much. There's not like too much in the debug for cats and dogs that's that interesting. They have some good crates because Brittleton Bay is like, you know, it's a seaport. So in like the non-playable areas of the world, there's just like crates and boxes and such. So they have those in the debug menu, but those were not going to serve our purposes here. Obviously, this is not that kind of build. We're finishing out the front porch. Super cute. Have a million seating areas in this house, so what's one more on the front porch, right? Just throw in some plants in there, hoping for the best. At this point, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little fatigued with the build. I'm like, we gotta get this done because it was approaching probably like an hour and a half of the second day of filming. So this is 3.5 hours of building this house, and I'm still not done. There's still like a little bit of refining to do upstairs. I don't even think I've finished the bedroom, the primary bedroom. I get kind of my second wind here because I start doing the front yard, and I want to make it a little bit like garden-y. So I'm throwing down some bushes, and I also decide I'm gonna do those low bushes. Those low, like, flower beds. There we go. And if you've seen my cafe build, I, like, rediscovered these for myself, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I don't, there's like a few different pieces. They have a few different like kind of colorways, and you mix and match them and make it look like really organic, and then just stick other bushes and shrubs on top of it, and it makes it look really lush and pretty. And I don't know, I just really like it. I think it adds a lot of oomph, a lot of pizzazz. So it excites me. So I got my second wind by doing that. Found a fountain, and I'm just gonna throw some foliage around there. Make it look really lush, really nice. I also try and put some fireflies, like, you know, the ones that you would put over like water features, like just like on the ground, to see if they would work. Unfortunately, they don't. I moved a sim in here just to playtest everything, and the fireflies did not show up, which was a little disappointing. I kind of wish we could just throw them anywhere. I might check again. Maybe I'm wrong, and there are fireflies, and I just wasn't looking right, and they weren't coming out. But I'll check again. Yeah, there we go, placing them. I wasn't going to be able to see them, obviously, in build mode, but they're there. Terrain paint really just helps bring everything together. There I go. Yeah, I have to do this landing. And then I was like, oh my god, I have to do this landing. I have no more clutter to pull out of anywhere. But, I mean, I pull it off. I honestly, I don't know if it's because it was like one of the last things I did, and I was like, thank god, we're done. But I honestly ends up being one of my favorite little corners of the build. Of course, we have another seating area. There's like a million of them in this home. How else do we fill the space but with another seating area? But I like the little statues that I got. Those are like two wolves. And then on the other side is like a cat and a dog, like bronze statue. I think it's cute. They're like a nod to, like, hey, we're using cats and dogs. Yeah, the last thing I did. I left my least favorite thing for last, the primary bedroom. It ended up being really nice. I don't know why, but everywhere else where I really liked this blue, for some reason in the bedroom, it felt really cold to me. I mean, it is literally a cool toned blue, so it makes sense, but I don't know, I didn't like it as much in the bedroom, but I think it ends up working out, especially for the kind of sim that I had in mind. Another little clutter area. I'm really digging deep into the debug menu right now. Oh, I also found this, which is like a shelf, but for the leashes of your dog. Oh, the debug menu also had these, like, they were like feathers. They looked like feathers just like in the catalog, but you would put them on the wall, and it was almost like it's like a display of the bird that the feather comes from. So I put one in the little girl's room right now. You'll see it in a sec. I gave her a frog too, because I thought that would be kind of fun. I pull out this like feather, and it's like a duck feather, but the little artwork is like a duck. I thought it was cute. I don't know. I didn't know it did that. I'm gonna try and remember that for next time. I feel like that would look really good in a study. Oh, we're at the end of the build. I took some screenshots just so we could get a sense. I really love that wallpaper. I got a knight. Why I got a knight of armor, why this house needs that, I have no idea. This is how you can tell I was just like struggling to fill out the space. Oh god. Look at these cute little bedrooms. It's not that bad. It actually looks really good. It's very nice. I guess we're at the end of the build. Well, thanks so much for joining me on my half-hour yap fest. If you're still here, God love you. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content. Take care of yourself and have a great day. Bye, everybody.